Hi everyone, this is Glenda Ganzon and welcome to my Human Anatomy and Physiology class. And for today's video, I'm going to discuss the cardiovascular system, particularly the heart. So the cardiovascular system is sometimes called the blood vascular or simply the circulatory system. It consists of the heart, which is a muscular pumping device, and a closed system of vessels called arteries, veins, and capillaries. And as the name implies, blood contained in the circulatory system is pumped by the heart around the closed circuit of vessels as it passes again and again through the various circulations of the body. As in, the adult survival of the developing embryo depends on the circulation of blood to maintain homeostasis and favorable cellular environment. In response to this need, the cardiovascular system makes its appearance early in the development and reaches a functional state long before any other major organ system. Incredible as it seems, the primitive heart begins to beat regularly early in the fourth week following fertilization. So the vital role of the cardiovascular system in maintaining homeostasis depends on the continuous and controlled movement of blood through the thousands of miles of capillaries that permeate every tissue and reach every cell in the body. It is the microscopic capillaries that the blood performs its ultimate transport function. So nutrients and other essential materials pass from capillary blood into fluid surrounding the cells as waste products are removed. So numerous control mechanisms help to regulate and integrate the diverse function and component parts of the cardiovascular system in order to supply blood to specific body areas according to need. So this mechanism ensures a constant internal environment surrounding each body cells regardless of the differing demands for nutrients or production of waste products. So let me walk you through the anatomy and physiology of the heart. And let me first start with the function of the heart. Number one is managing blood supply. Variation in the rate and force of heart contraction match blood flow to the changing metabolic needs of the tissues during the rest, exercise, and changes in body position. Another function of the heart is producing blood pressure. Contraction of the heart produces blood pressure, which is needed for blood flow through the blood vessels. Another function is securing one-way blood flow. The valves of the heart secure one-way blood flow through the heart and blood vessels. And lastly, transmitting blood. The heart separates the pulmonary and systemic circulation, which ensures the flow of oxygenated blood to tissues. So this is the anatomy of the heart. The cardiovascular system can be compared to a muscular pump equipped with one-way valves and a system of large and small plumbing tubes within which the blood travels. The heart approximately like the size of a person's fist, and the hollow cone-shaped heart weighs less than a pound and snugly enclosed within the inferior mediastinum, the medial cavity of the thorax. The heart also is flanked on each side by the lungs. Its more pointed apex is directed toward the left hip and rests on the diaphragm approximately at the level of the fifth intercostal space. Its broad posterior aspect, or the base from which the great vessels of the body emerge, points toward the right shoulder and lies beneath the second rib. The heart also is enclosed in a double-walled sac called the pericardium and its outermost layer, or the outermost layer of the heart. The loosely fitting superficial part of This sac is referred to as the fibrous pericardium, which helps protect the heart and anchors it to surrounding structures such as the diaphragm and sternum. And deep to the fibrous pericardium is the slippery two-layer serous pericardium, where its parietal layer lines the inferior of the fibrous pericardium. There are three layers of the heart: the epicardium, the myocardium, and the endocardium. The epicardium is the visceral and outermost layer, and this is actually a part of the heart wall. The second one is the myocardium, and it consists of thick bundles of cardiac muscles twisted and whirled into ring-like arrangement, and it is the layer that actually contracts. And the last one is the endocardium, which is the innermost layer of the heart, and it is a thin glistening sheet of endothelium that lines the heart chambers. So there are also some chambers of the heart. The first one is the receiving chamber, which is the two superior atria are primarily the receiving chambers, and they play a lighter role in the pumping activity of the heart. Another is the discharging chamber. The two inferior thick-walled ventricles are the discharging chambers or actual pumps of the heart, wherein when they contract, blood is propelled out of the heart into the circulation. And the last one is the septum, and it is the septum that divides the heart longitudinally is referred to as either the interventricular septum or the interatrial septum, depending on which chamber it separates. The heart also is associated with great vessels. So the great blood vessels provide a pathway for the entire cardiac circulation to proceed. The first one is the superior and inferior vena cava. So the heart receives relatively oxygen-poor blood from the veins of the body through the large superior and inferior vena cava and pumps it through the pulmonary trunk. Another is the pulmonary arteries. The pulmonary trunk splits into right and left pulmonary arteries, which carry blood to the lungs where the oxygen is picked up and carbon dioxide is unloaded. The next one is the pulmonary veins and oxygen-rich blood that drains from the lungs and is returned to the left side of the heart through the four pulmonary veins. And the last one is the aorta. So blood returned to the left side of the heart is pumped out of the heart into the aorta, from which the systemic arteries branch to supply essentially all the body tissues. The heart is also equipped with four valves which allow blood to flow in only one direction through the heart chambers, and the first one is the atrioventricular valves. So these atrioventricular valves or AV valves are located between the atrial and ventricular chambers on each side, and they prevent backflow into the atria when the ventricles contract. Another is the bicuspid valves. So the left AV valve, the bicuspid or mitral valve, consists of two flaps or cusp or endocardium. The next one is the tricuspid valve. The right AV valve or the tricuspid valve has three flaps. The second set of valves, the semilunar valves, guards the bases of the two large arteries leaving the ventricular chambers. Thus, they are known as the pulmonary and aortic semilunar valve.